Hello friends, welcome to Canggu Beach in Bali. We are back in Bali. It's a beautiful afternoon. The trip to China, the whole tour was a great success, and now I'm just relaxing a little bit before the whole shebang starts up again here in Bali. And I just wanted to talk about something very interesting that my friend Pete Lockett gave me this topic, because we've both been on the road for so long and so much that these kind of things are a topic of discussion over a dinner table. And that is, what happens if you get sick on the road? What happens? Oh my God, guys, this is a difficult one. I got sick. I'll just tell you the worst one of all. I got sick in Mexico once. I was on a gig in Mexico in Cancun, and there was this epidemic. I don't know, but it was going around. This flu that they called the typhoon flu or something really nasty, and it was so bad. It was like fever and vomiting and just nasty, right? So the first week goes by, I'm okay, nothing, right? We're doing the gig. The second week comes by, I start to feel a little weird. I'm like, oh no, please, not that, not that. The next day I had a fever, and the next day I was in total fever land, could not even get out of bed. It was horrible. Of course, I tried to play that night. It was impossible. I had to, the guys had to use a drum machine, believe it or not, because there was no way that anybody could sub for me at that moment. So it was like, it turned into a really big bummer for everybody. So what did I do? The next day, I directly went to the doctor because the fever was so horrible. I was shaking, shivering in bed at 3, 4 in the morning, just shivering from fever. Horrible experience. Luckily, in Mexico, the doctor hooked me up. I mean, it cost nothing to get cured, right? It was really amazing, and he was great. But so one thing is, when you get sick, there's some gigs that you can't be subbed out on, which is a major bummer. Some other ones you can call a sub. There's many times where I've gotten sick and I've called a sub because I have many friends around the world, many drummer friends, and they were able to cover it, So that's one thing to consider. Having backup drummers wherever you go, whatever country you're in, like, make contact with drummers and even send them the book if it's a gig that you cannot be replaced. Ask them for a huge favor. Hey man, learn some of the songs. I don't know what's going to happen, but just in case, learn some of the songs. And usually that's something that I do. So that could be an interesting solution. But of course, there's not really one solution for such a thing. So do I have a health insurance overseas? A lot of places you don't need. Why? Because it's so cheap compared to the United States. I mean, it's basically non-existent. In Vietnam, I was horribly, horribly ill. I got GERD. I don't know if you guys know what that is. It's a stomach problem. And it was awful. And I was at the hospital, 4 times, emergency room and all this shit, right? And I thought it was going to cost a fortune. The doctors were so great. They did every kind of exam. They did everything. Less than $300 for all that hospital care. I mean, amazing, So some places you don't need health insurance. Now, if you go to the States, if you're on tour in the States, you better get you some health insurance, man. International coverage. Because I had a friend of mine that in New York, he slipped on the ice and broke his frickin' leg. His bone was sticking out of his leg, right? It was a horrible fall. And they took him to the emergency room and they asked him the first thing they asked is, what insurance do you have, right? And he said, the government or whatever, Germany, but they said, no, we don't take that. And they sent him to another hospital with the bone sticking out of his leg, right? And then he went to another hospital and they said, get they called his insurance company. No, sorry, we don't cover that again, right? So they patched him up as much as possible, and his insurance company said, get in a taxi and go back to Germany right now. We'll pay for the flight, we'll pay for everything, right? I mean, that's how great the German government is with its citizens with health insurance. But if you're in the States, you can just, what a horrible place to get ill, the States. Hey man, this sunset is looking amazing here in Bali. I'm gonna have to get some photos of that. But anyway, getting ill on the road is no fun, man. No fun. Another thing I do is take as much with me as possible as far as medicine. Like I take carbon tablets in case I get food poisoning or whatever. I take aspirin, ibuprofen, 400 milligrams, 800 milligrams, just to get me through a night of gigging, whatever. What else do I take? Just some nose spray if I catch a cold, I can't breathe. I take nose spray. Call me crazy, but those three things, man, that'll hook you up if you're in an emergency. So that's my advice. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on getting ill overseas. Luckily, I've been ill only in places where the healthcare system was amazing. Luckily. Like I said, if you're in the States, you better pray you don't get ill, and you better have health insurance, like travelers health insurance that works in the US, because my buddy's health insurance didn't work, and it was such a disgusting, anyway, I can't even begin to tell you how mad that made me. But yeah, that's the situation. Getting ill on the road is no fun at all. Now look at this sunset, man. Let's talk about something positive for a moment. So I'm going to do some photography of this sunset if this guy gets out of my way. Look at that. Now, do I know other musicians that this has happened to? I sure do. And they have had the good fortune to be in countries where also the healthcare system was amazingly well run. So I don't know, guys, figure out how to take care of yourself health-wise. That's why I'm always working out, man, and exercising, because I want to be able to play as long as I possibly can, right? I don't want some problem holding me back from playing. I love playing. I love traveling and seeing the world, and you got to be healthy for that. You can't be overweight is a big problem. You can't be traveling and walking through airports and carrying heavy shit when you're overweight and out of shape, right? So I stay in shape as much as possible, and I do it for drums, okay? I do it for my career and, of course, my health. But that's an issue you should seriously look at, okay? If you have any questions about workouts and stuff like that, I've done yoga, I've done Pilates, I've done tons of gym stuff, so I can maybe give you some advice about that. But it's not easy to pick, and you have to be careful. Okay, so with that, I thank you for watching, and many greetings from Bali to this amazing sunset. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.
Do you love drumming? Whether you are an amateur or a pro, what defines your drumming will be what you put into it, the things that you're exposed to, the things in your culture and the people you run across. If you love drumming, check out my lesson site, the most innovative curriculum in the world. I have taught thousands and thousands of drummers across the world in some of the most highly regarded drumming cultures. Check out my lesson site and see what it's all about. From big band to rock to Afro-Cuban, Brazilian, one of the most complete lesson libraries on the planet. See you there.